Okay, so I'm Larry Stein, Stein from Stuttering, with Cookie Green from Stuttering to Confidence, both our Facebook sites. I'm now, by the way, on Instagram, also Stein on Stuttering. And Cookie has her question for today. What is that, Cookie? And she seems to be a little frozen.
So my question today for you is on mindset. Now, I want to know, how did you switch your mindset of a person that stutters and feel not so good about yourself, not so comfortable, to now a mindset of a public speaker? That's what I want to know. What was that switch like? Give us some insight.
Okay. So, very challenging question. I'll do my best. Yes, when I was younger, it was very difficult for me. I had a very severe stutter, and to the point, as I've told you before, that even in high school, I couldn't read by myself without stuttering heavily, couldn't talk by myself without stuttering heavily. Pretty severe. I could say little cute quips here and there about that. So how did I make this change in mindset? First, let me talk about what I call the victim mindset.
Yeah.
The victim mindset, which I actually talk about that a lot. Maybe I haven't even told you, I have a book coming out in a few months, probably around mid-October, late October. And maybe next time we get together, I'll show you my cover. I think it's ready. Anyways, so the victim mindset, I realized after I was making improvements to my speech that I was mired in this victim mindset, and that I was going nowhere to improvement, or at least not significant improvement, without changing how I viewed things. And I think all of us who stutter, well, me especially, will say, oh, I had a bad stuttering day. Oh, why? Well, for me, I had 1,000 excuses. Maybe my haircut wasn't good. Maybe I was wearing clothes that made me uncomfortable. I mean, crazy things like that. I had an excuse for everything. And that permeated my life. I would make excuses for everything. I would use stuttering as my excuse or something else crazy like that. Okay. So as I was making progress with my speech, and that was through, just to give you a brief overview, that was through relearning to speak with breathe emphasized phrase, BEP, which is just how public speakers speak. Speaking like a public speaker, going through the psychological stuff, and this is part of the psychological stuff, and then working through situations, speaking situations, which is the hard work and where the progress really is. People want to learn, my BEP thing. I go, that isn't going to get you very far. It's really going through the situation. But the mindset thing was important. And let me go through that. So making progress with the mindset, I had to decide, and I'm not saying that stuttering is a bad thing. People jump down my throat. Well, you're saying stuttering is a bad thing. Well, it's not what I wanted, okay? I wanted to be able to express myself, and I could not. And a lot of people don't like when I say that, because they say you should love your stutter, and all that. Well, I did not. I had a hard time. But at the same time, I felt I had to take responsibility for my speech.
Yes.
I had to take responsibility for my life. And I was using my stuttering as an excuse for making career moves that I had no interest in, just so that I wouldn't have to talk much. I became an accountant. I had no interest in it whatsoever. but I thought I could do it because I wouldn't have to talk much. I became a writer for financial stuff. I had a little interest in that, but that wasn't what I wanted to do, again, because I didn't think I'd have to talk much. And of course, the opposite is true to how I improved. So how did I make this switch from one to other? And it's not a switch. People are always asking me, what was your aha moment? There were 1,000 of them, and nothing was easy. And the victim mindset, the first thing I had to do was to say, you know what? This is my speech. There are no good days, bad days. I'm speaking. I'm the one that's coming out of my mouth. And if I want to change it, I have to do it.
Right.
There are no excuses. It's not that I'm tired. It's not that I might have a bad haircut. It's not that, I was in a bad mood. It's not that, things are high pressured right now or things aren't going well. No, it's coming out of my mouth. I'm responsible for it, whatever that means. Next thing I did was, within that taking responsibility, that I had always shied away from speaking situations because of my stuttering. And again, it was another excuse. It didn't have to be. And I decided that I'm going to start saying yes to opportunities. Now, I had to be pushed into that. And I had to be pushed into so many things. I just, kind of gave up. I said, okay. And I realized after saying okay to a couple of things that these are things that I wanted to turn down, and I got pushed into it, and they became the best things in my life.
Wow.
Because they challenged me and they made me take more steps and expand my range of speaking with other people. And so this is how I term it. I began saying yes to speaking and yes to life. I stopped saying no, because I would say no to everything. Every opportunity, people would offer me jobs. And I say, no, I can't do that. No, they'd offer me opportunities. No, I can't do that. Going out with friends. No, I can't do it because I can't speak in a group with friends. My whole life was saying no. And I started to say yes. And if I stutter, I stutter. Now, I had already made some improvement in my speech. So, don't paint me as a hero here, because I'm like a poster child for what not to do. For not to do, no question, for what not to do. But as I was making progress with my speech, these are the things that I began to do. I said no to the victim mindset. I'm taking responsibility. There are no excuses anymore. There are no excuses. Secondly, that I'm going to start saying yes to every opportunity, and I'm going to expose myself to more speaking opportunities. Now, I wasn't a hero. It's not like I said I'm going to speak to 10,000 people, or I'm going to stand on a street corner and say, I stutter. Let me tell you about that. No, I went in very small steps because I wanted to change my expectation from expecting to stutter all the time to expecting to have so much trouble and angst about talking to feeling successes. So my goal is not necessarily fluency. It was feeling comfortable speaking in a wider range of situations, but I did it very small steps. They were almost insignificant, and people would say, well, that's not a big deal. You already did this. That's not, no, it was another small step. So, people say, break your comfort zones and all that stuff. Wow, break your comfort zones. Go out and, I did not do that. I had done that enough. I've always felt flat on my face, and I was always back to square one. I was sick of square one. And I said, I'm going to take really small steps. I want to build an expectation of successes. And that's what I did with really small steps. And and I began to have this expectation that I can handle this situation. And I would just go from one situation to the next in very small steps.
Yeah.
And so what all this is saying is there was no switch. There was no, great mindset. I'm going to become confident. I'm going to throw this away. I'm going to do, no. It was successes that I built one after the other. And I gradually began to become more confident because I was stacking one success after another. And it's not like I had one good conversation and then in 2 weeks I had another good conversation. I just piled it on. One
okay.
Like,
so gradually, step by step.
Yeah, like 10 a day. I mean, boom, 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 over and over again. And this was over a 2-year period. And I got to the point where I could feel comfortable speaking with anyone and in any situation. Doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect all the time, so fluency wise. But, most people who meet me nowadays have no idea that I ever stuttered. And so, but the important thing is that I'm comfortable and that I enjoy.
Yeah.
The other thing that I did. Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay. All right.
You had a aha moment where you said to yourself, I speak better. Public speaking, I feel more comfortable when I'm public speaking. I think I'm going to public speak all the time.
Right.
That was that switch where you said, now I'm going to speak a different way. And then you took on that mindset where that now you public speak and it's smooth. Talk a little about that.
But it was, but it's not like it was, I mean, that was a decision I made, but then I had to prove it to my brain because the brain could care less about what I say and frankly, what I think. And that's why I say positive thinking can foster confidence. But if you really want to build confidence that lasts, what I call true confidence,
right,
that really makes a difference, you've got to do it with hard work and experience, just over and over and over again. And that's why I think you hear of so many people having, these regressions. They have a month or two of great speech, maybe 6 months of great speech, and then they go back to where they were. And I've never had that. Now that could happen to me. I don't know. But now it's been, more than a decade, and I've never had any regression whatsoever. And I think it's because my speech has been built on a foundation of hard work and successes over and over again. It's not on some, thought. There was no switch. It's like I built a very heavy fortified stone building and not kind of a thought which can come and go. That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it seems to work for you very well too, because how some people go through different things like the McGuire program, or some people go through just different techniques. But I've seen fluency in many people, and that's why I just wanted to find out what was the mindset and how did your mindset go from a stuttering mindset to more of a smooth speaker or more fluent. But you've said by hard work and by practicing and trying improving step by step to where that now you have a strong foundation to where that you can speak smoothly and you haven't had any regression, which is good. So.
And I wouldn't say that right now, there isn't any technique that I'm doing. There isn't like, I am just speaking. I'm not thinking about my speech. I'm not managing, I'm not controlling, I'm not anything.
Yes.
I have worked to the point where it's in me. And so, but that takes a lot of work, and it's not, not everyone's willing to do that. People are always asking me for tricks, tips, and techniques, and I go,
Right.
I have none. And maybe it's, I mean, I spent a lifetime with tips, tricks, and techniques, and none of it worked. Maybe it worked for a day or two, but it didn't
Right.
work. So I just come at this from a whole different range, in that my mindset was built from the hard work and these small successes. It wasn't built the other way of, oh, I'm going to take on this mindset. Yes, I decided I was going to take responsibility for my speech, so that's a mindset. And I also made the decision that I'm going to view every conversation with two goals: to enjoy myself and to give. And if you think about it, why did I say those two things? Because on the psychological stuff, everything I did was, I figured my brain was so filled with these, what I call inclinations, from stuttering from 50 years, that I had to take the exact opposite tack, which is a tenet of cognitive behavioral therapy. And so I didn't know that at the time. I just stumbled on this. I was so desperate. I was just desperate. And so I figured the opposite of stuttering is to enjoy every conversation, because I never had, and to give, rather than focus on me, focus on the other person. And so those kind of things were mindset, but it was all just kind of fostering what I did with the hard work of one situation after the other, and making BEP automatic, so I didn't have to think about it. So
that's good.
So I hope that helps. That was a longer one than I had planned on.
Oh man, that was good, powerful. Thank you so much.
All right,
I can't
we'll
wait
talk soon.
to ask you.
Oh,
but thanks for sharing yourself, because
absolutely.
that blesses people. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, our connection is kind of breaking down here. So we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.